two Cold War titans, built to dominate the battlefield, yet never met in a declared war. But what if they had? The British Centurion Mk III versus the Soviet T-55, which tank would win in a head-to-head showdown? Today, we're diving into the armor, firepower, tactics, and real-world engagements of these Cold War heavyweights to find out. Emerging from the devastation of World War II, the Centurion Mk III represented Britain's move toward universal tanks, well-armored, mobile, and with superior firepower. Across the Iron Curtain, the Soviets developed the T-55, an evolution of the wartime T-34 line, but with improved armor, NBC protection, and a powerful 100mm gun. These tanks became the face of proxy wars and Cold War tension. The Centurion saw service from Korea to the Middle East, the T-55, Vietnam, Angola, Afghanistan. Armor: Centurion Mk 376mm to 152mm, frontal, 51mm side, T-55, 100mm to 203mm turret front. 80mm Glacis, gun Centurion, 20-pounder, a PDS capable to 280mm penetration. T-55, 100mm D10T, HEAT, APCBC, APFSDS, 275mm penetration. Fire rate Centurion, approximately 8 rounds per minute. T-55, 6 to 7 rounds per minute. Range: Centurion to 450 kilometers, T-55 to 500 kilometers. Its rounds were extremely effective against early Cold War armor. Heat rounds made it lethal at close range, with better post-penetration effects in soft interiors. But the T-55's range and maneuverability give it the edge in outflanking maneuvers, especially in formations. The T-55 struggles with depression angles, limiting its effectiveness behind cover. However, the Centurion's stabilizer and tougher armor allow it to fire first and survive longer. Tactics and terrain often decided victory more than specs. Centurion, approximately 35 km per hour, T-55, 250 km per hour. The Centurion's early optics and gun stabilizer gave it an advantage at long range, especially in hull-down positions. The T-55, although simpler, had reliable night-fighting capability and easier logistics. The T-55 had a more cramped four-man setup, with ammunition stored close to the crew, increasing the risk of catastrophic explosions. The Centurion had a four-man crew with a roomy interior and a dedicated loader. It was more comfortable on long operations. In an urban fight, the T-55's lower profile and higher speed make it excellent for flanking. In open desert, the Centurion's long-range gunnery comes into play. Hull down, the Centurion dominates. Its gun depression and turret armor make it perfect for static defense. In 1973, Centurion variants faced T-55s in the Golan Heights. Israeli forces used superior gunnery and positioning to decimate Syrian T-55s. In Vietnam, the T-55's numbers were its strength, overwhelming ARVN forces in close quarters. Jungle fighting, the Centurion was the better tank in a vacuum. Better fire control, better armor. But the T-55 was the AK-47 of tanks. Cheap, reliable, and lethal when used right. So, which would I choose? Urban ambush, Centurion, better survivability and firepower. Desert maneuver, T-55, speed and numbers win here. Defensive terrain, Centurion hull-down king. The Centurion, Mk III, and T-55 each represent the peak of their doctrines. Quality versus quantity, precision versus simplicity. History showed both tanks could win depending on how they were used. But what about you? Drop your pick in the comments. Subscribe for more tank tactics, and let's talk tanks in the comments. Thanks for watching.